cool. Well, I think Kurt touched upon it slightly. So we had a message from Renegade Master. A bit of a noisy tune there. Premium defenders are once again proving their worth. Is having at least 2 from Alonso, Mendy, Robson essential for any team? Discuss. Jay, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so for me, I think 2 is probably the perfect number right now. With team value not at its highest, I think it's a lot to spend it's probably 6.7 now for Alonso. And then you've got 6.2, is it now for Mendy? And 6.3. Then 6.3. And then has Robertson gone up as well?
He's 6.1.
Yeah, so that's a lot to spend on free defenders. Now, I suppose if you get those free defenders in, you don't have to worry about your defence for the rest of the season, as long as there's no injuries. I just, looking at the stats for all the defenders though, I'm looking at Alonso, and for me, his stats aren't quite as good as Mendy's. I know he's scored more points at the moment, but 2 assists from penalties. Watching the games, I think Mendy just gets forward even more so than Alonso. I think Seri probably wants Alonso to get forward less, and it's just not happening. Whereas I think Mendy's just going to always be that kind of driving force down the left, and Pep said Mendy brings that width that he felt the side was lacking in a sense, so I think Mendy's quite safe in that City side. For me, maybe potentially Robertson isn't necessary, because Alexander-Arnold has looked good at 5 million. So there's another option in that Liverpool defence. Whereas I think if you're looking at Chelsea defence and Man City defence, there's 2 clear better options. They're the 2 best options, Mendy and Alonso. Whereas the question about Alexander-Arnold, 1 million plus less, he doesn't have to get as many points as Robertson for you to be able to bring in someone better somewhere else that could kind of bridge that gap of points difference if Robertson outperforms Alexander-Arnold. So I think 2 is necessary, but I think Liverpool may be the place where you don't need Robertson and you could get away with bringing in someone else.
And of course, we still have tonight's game to come, so you could possibly throw Trippier into the mix of all of those as well. But for myself, seeing the points from Alonso this season and going back to the form points, 11 points, 13 points and 11 points in the last 3 game weeks, I had to get him in. It's simple as that. I do have Robson and I have Patrick Van Aanholt. I did get Pereira last game week. It didn't cost me anything to get Pereira last game week apart from a free transfer. And I did consider shipping out Robson or PVA for one of those spots, but I decided to give PVA a bit longer, and I think Robson might become Mendy for me. So based on that, I made Pereira Alonso. So I've definitely gone back. But I think 2 is good. I possibly with Jay here, if you've got 3 at the moment, you seem to be, happy days. Really, let's be honest. Yeah. Let's be honest with you. But will it stay that way? Also, that's a lot of money tied up if your defender then concedes and doesn't get any attacking point. But for Alonso, 30+% own now, I think, and just going back to previous seasons as well, I just kind of, for me, it was a must. But I really am. Mendy is the next person on the wish list for me. So go on, Brett. Go on. You look as if you're raring there.
Yeah, it's. I think for the people who have used their wild card and have now got Robertson, Mendy, Alonso, I can understand exactly why they've done that. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to. The only issue is getting those on your wild card, like you've just said, Nim. It's like once you've spent that money and you've used the wild card and you've got all that money locked up in defence, if one of the big boys like Aubameyang or Kane or any player that you've had to sacrifice to afford those comes into question, that's where it gets a bit worrying. Now, if you've already gone with Robertson and Mendy from the start and you just need to bring in Alonso and you've still got the wild card in case you need to free up that funds later, then that's the ideal situation. I might even go that way and use my wild card this week and bring those 3 in. I might do it. But once you've used the wild card to get those in, like I said, you've locked up that money, so that's a bit of a concern, you know.
There's still such a long way to go, isn't
There
there?
is,
Like,
there
how
is.
many weeks is it until Christmas still? Like, I think somebody said the other day, it's still 10 plus, I think, which
It's 18
is...
Mondays.
Oh.
Saw it on Facebook this morning, apparently.
Oh,
Someone's counting down.
I can't wait.
Knocking my microphone everywhere. Santa's coming. Sorry. Okay, guys, do you have anything to add to that, Kit? You've got quite an expensive defence, if I remember correctly. You have Aspilicueta and Alonso.
My cheapest defenders are Trent AA and Shaw. I've got Alonso in. I brought him in for -8. I had Aspilicueta from the start. I brought Mendy in as well. My worry at the moment with Alexander-Arnold is that that's three clean sheets, but the difference between Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, Robertson has picked up bonus point in all 3 games as well as getting an assist.
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold so far has picked up a yellow card in each of his 3 games. So he's got 5, 5 and 5, which, to be honest, if he takes the 1 game suspension, hopefully gets rid of it, he's still getting a lot of points for a £5 million defender. But the £6 million at the moment is a bit of a price jump, but it's ended up being worth it because there's extra points there available. Even just excluding the yellow card, that's an extra point. And that, with the yellow card there, you basically ruin yourself of any potential bonus points. But whilst they're scoring, they're lovely. But if they stop scoring and stop getting assists and they lose their clean sheets, they're pointless. So it's about the fixture.
You heard it first, Kurt. Defenders are pointless.
I mean, you've got to look at fixtures as well. I mean, there's no point potentially bringing in let's say Alonso, for example. Let's say you're looking at bringing in Alonso and you've got a run of fixtures. He's not got a bad run of fixtures. Luke Shaw. Let's look at Luke Shaw. No, let's just say they've got like an Arsenal away, Man City, and they've got Liverpool to play, Tottenham to play. If they've got a bad run of fixtures, there's no point bringing them in because the likelihood is they'll lose their clean sheet points. It'll be harder for them to get attacking returns. So wait until the right time. Don't feel pressured into getting them because they're not going to go up too much. But yeah, that's all I've got to really say.
I think for Trent, like I do agree with what Jay was saying a bit because, especially with Liverpool's fixtures coming up, Robertson is the one who has the very, very difficult fixtures now. Alonso and Mendy, the two, both back-to-back home games. Man City have exceptional fixtures now until like game week 8 or something. So Mendy's essential. We've seen how far forward he's getting. Alonso has the 2 back-to-back games as well against Bournemouth and Cardiff, and we've seen him return attacking points in all 3. Now, Granted, Robertson, you could argue, is essential as well, the way he started the bonus points, but his fixtures do get a lot more difficult now. 2 back-to-back away games, and then, they're playing Man City, Chelsea soon. I think the story with Trent would be a lot different if he had put one of his chances away in the last game.
Exactly.
And he almost scored twice. And if he had scored one of those, everyone would be saying, oh my God, he's worth maybe the million downgrade. It's much easier to say Trent isn't worth it because Robertson started so well. But if Trent does put a free kick away, or he's, they're both attacking. So there is a case for Trent. There is definitely a case for Trent.
If we're thinking not so much attacking and we still want Liverpool, then I guess there is a case for Alisson as well, as your Liverpool defence. But obviously, as you just said, bear in mind their fixtures get a little bit tougher now compared to some of the others.
They do.